Hi, I'm Arturo Torres, and I'm going to present my final project of doing business in the Americas. My final project is about Cemex, a Mexican enterprise, and well, this case is happening in Mexico, a developing countries situated in North America. The places mentioned in the case of Mexico are Australia and the UK. It's, well, Mexico is one of the countries where it's easier to do business in all Latin America. However, there are high crime rates that are a problem for the business environment. The big market of consumers in the country, it is proximity to the US, are good opportunities for investors. The GDP grew by 3.8% in recent years, but is highly dependent of the US and Canada, which represents a vulnerability to the economic problems of these countries, and corruption levels and security problems are high and are a problem for businesses. The competitiveness in business in Mexico has been increasing over the years. Mexico, its economy is stable and strong. It is a developed the Mexico, its economy is stable and strong. It is a developed, stable, democratic, competitive country and also encourages foreign investment. Its economy is based on political and economic ties with Europe, UK, North and South America, and Africa. It has a high strength and diverse workforce. The UK, it is one of the largest economies in Europe and also one of the best to make business with. The regulations in the country are strong and the protection of investors are good. Characteristics to do business there, the UK have good transport and infrastructure and is attractive for investment. They have implemented different reforms to improve the facility of doing business in the UK, such as increasing the limit of weekly wages to employees, severance pays and minimum wage, electronic filing, property transfer, reducing the tax rate and companies and provide items for the preparation of memoranda. So what happened? The case happened in June 2007. That year it became easier to do business around the world. According to a report by the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation, 213 regulatory reforms in 112 economies were created to reduce time, cost, and hassle for companies. Economies were created to reduce time, cost, and hassle for economies had with legal and administrative requirements, and for the first time, Africa reached the top 3 among reforming regions that year. The case was about Cemex, wanted to globalize, and the company became one of the largest suppliers of building materials in the world in 2007. In the case is discussed the way in which Cemex could globalize and the strategies they followed to make it, and how they managed to succeed in countries like Australia and the UK. The variables that affected the situation were the debts that were acquired by the purchases of companies in other countries to carry out the expansion of the company. They bought the Australian company Rinker Materials Corp. The problems of this were that the Rinker clients were the real estate market in the US, and that part of the debt used to finance the operation had to be refinanced soon. The problems were worse when the US dollar increased its value and also the weakening of its 3 main markets, USA, Spain, and Mexico. The company had difficulty to generate enough cash to reduce the debt. Then the company tried to reduce the debt selling assets. The Spanish division of Cemex agreed to sell its operation in the Canary Islands, but the assets that the company sold in Hungary and Austria were less than the analysts expected. What is Cemex? Cemex is a producer, distributor, and marketer of cement and also ready-mix concrete. This enterprise operates 24/7 and serves customers on 4 continents. These are America, Asia, Europe, and Africa, in more than 60 countries, and has relationships with more than 60 nations within an economic sector of quick global changes. 2006, Cemex celebrated its 100th anniversary of its founding, and it's one of the big national monopoles in Mexico. Free trade agreements that benefit Cemex. It's a transformation from domestic producer to a multinational group began with the signing of the GATT in 1985. NAFTA. free trade agreement with Europe and the other countries in South America. Cemex owns half of the installed cement plants in Mexico, which generates 63% of the national production of cement. It also has one of the biggest clusters of cement in the world, located in Baja California Norte, Mexico. One of the most important features of the cluster is that its largest plant is dedicated to the production of Portland cement, which is intended mainly to cover foreign demand, while another part of the production is intended as an input for other cement enterprises of the same cluster. Projects. Cemex is always looking for new projects to support the local economy. Recently partnered with the Grameen Credit Lab. The first project is going to be about developing own business families. This family business model will focus on housing and basic services. During its first year of implementation, seeking to stimulate the local economy, capacity development, and strengthening the role of women. During 2015, two pilot projects with families in urban and rural areas will be made. The values of CEMEX are security guarantee, customer focus, search of excellence, working as one enterprise, and acting with integrity. CEMEX policy is to know, comply, and promote compliance with laws, regulations, standards, and other provisions applicable laws established by the governments of the countries in which they operate. The staff should not commit an illegal or wrongful act or induce or instruct someone to commit it. If someone has a doubt about the legality of practice or in doubt before any law, regulation or standard should be directed to legal department of the Ethics Committee Business Unit.